Hey, here we are. What was that? I don't know what that was. Hey, welcome back to Total Spotfest. That's Jamie. That's Austin. I'm JJ. We're coming back at you here. We're all over the place. Yes, I know, right? Our new champion, Austin. Have you received a belt yet for Austin?
No,
not.
Because it has not been sent.
It was
okay.
Has not been sent. Was planning on sending it Monday. Work sucked. Was planning on sending it Tuesday. Work sucked, and then snow. Also
fair.
You will be. Yeah. Well, you have the virtual belt here, but
you'll have the real one in your possession very soon.
Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you guys giving us some of your time. We're gonna get into it here in a little bit. Yeah, we got is interesting. So it's like, and we were just talking about this a minute ago, but because Austin doesn't live in Kansas City with us, he lives down in Wichita, and you got a decent amount of snow there. Got about the same as I got up here, but for some reason, Jamie got just bum rushed with the snow this go around.
I definitely got the hedgehog level of snow. Got strong 9.5 inches, and no cigarettes were smoked. Like, just took it like a champ, guys.
You said you smoked a cigarette after.
After I shoveled.
Funny story. So we have a group chat for our bowling team that Jamie and I are on, right? And so I'm actually on my way to bowling, and he wasn't going to make it because of everything. And I didn't. For some reason, on my car, on the car app that I have there, like, it'll pop up a Discord message. But if there's like multiple of them, it only pops up the most recent one. So all I see is Jamie. I even smoked a cigarette. I go, Jamie doesn't smoke. What is this? So I, like, for my whole 35-minute drive, I had no idea. I was everything in my head. It's like, what's Jamie doing smoking? Is day at work that bad? And yeah, so
I would never smoke a cigarette ever.
That's why I was confused. All right.
Oh, Rob, I'm in Raymore, man. Like, Raymore and Belton got pounded, and actually, I guess Pleasant Valley got 11 inches, which is like what Dirk Diggler level, or whatever the real guy's name is. Sorry, I'm trying to make cheesy porn references for all you guys.
Which is funny because it's like, now awesome, because before you guys moved to Wichita, you guys were in Denver. So even though as a native-born Texan, I'm sure you got acclimated to the large snow pretty quickly.
So I spent most of my life in Texas. I was actually born in Chicago, so I was forged in the Midwest, and I know how to get through a heavy snow. But yeah, spending a couple of decades in Texas, you get to the point where you don't really like the snow. It's largely inconvenient. I gotta say, at least it snowed overnight, and I worked from home, so I just didn't have to leave the house the next day. So it was fine. Still had to go out and shovel though. But
the shoveling sucked, But so today was interesting because it got above freezing for all of us, right? And so I just have a ranch. I have a one-level house, right? It's an old 50s mid-century house. So the roof isn't like super thick. I don't have an attic up there. It's just a gabled roof, right? And if it like hails or something, I'll hear it like ping on the roof or whatever, if it's something heavy like that, right? So as the sun came out and it was melting, you're getting all these clumps of icy snow falling off of all the trees and everything. So I'm sitting there working in my on my computer, having a phone call. I just hear pop, 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 pop. For like 3 hours. It was just like I was in a tin can, it felt like. It was stupid. But wherever you are, we hope you are staying warm if you're around the cold. If you've been snowed in, thanks for joining us. We're gonna get into it. Hey, you guys know what a fun activity to do is when you can't leave the house? Is maybe to get on Twitter, unless your name is Tony Khan.
I think Tony Khan getting on Twitter is a great idea. Twitter Tony is the king.
So what are your thoughts here on Tony Khan versus TV networks versus whatever? Jamie, what are we doing with this guy?
Well, so as much as we bitch about territorial wrestling fans, this was great because I think I personally loved it. I thought it was very well done. Just like it actually came at him first. Like they attacked him, and then he was like, "Well, allow me to retort," and he absolutely did. And then Mr. Bischoff hopped in there, and then Bischoff got absolutely buried alive. Not only by him, but by all the comments. All the comments were the best thing that ever happened. Even from like, who was it? Dax. He commented on it, and somebody else like showing old WCW videos. Like,
Austin.
Yeah. The USA Network taking a shot at Tony Khan was funny. Like, if you take it seriously enough to get upset, go outside and like fly a kite or something. Like, you're too wound up. Because, yeah, the Fox Network taking a shot at Tony Khan is hilarious. Tony Khan taking shots at WWE after their network came at him. It's fine. It's funny. Everyone thinks it's hilarious when the Wendy's Twitter account roasts somebody, but like Tony Khan calls out some bullshit and all of a sudden, well, he needs to put the Twitter down and book his shows. It takes 10 seconds to fire off a tweet. Maybe 15 if you're dunking on Bischoff like he was. You got to think a little bit more about it. But it takes no time. And also, why is Tony Khan the only pro wrestling executive that's expected to be held to some high standard? Like, yeah, Vince McMahon wasn't tweeting, but he was doing objectively much worse shit on air, let alone off of the air. And it was fine.
Don't even talk about off of the air with, financial and sexual hurt. Yeah, ooh.
As we've mentioned on this, as I've mentioned on the show like twice already, the president of the UFC, the face of the company, slapped his wife on camera for everyone to see and then just said, well, nothing's worse than living with doing that, so we'll just move on. And everyone just moved on. But no, Tony Khan taking a second to clown on some silly booking, which it was a little bit. Apparently that's setting people off. The tribalism part of it's stupid, but the entertainment part of it is great. Now, someone that did chime in that Jamie might have mentioned was one Mr. Eric Bischoff. And we're kind of getting into it early today, but I think I got to drop a little knowledge on Mr. Eric Bischoff.
Let's drop some.
I'm gonna bust it out of the stash.
Let's drop some Bischoff knowledge. They stash and knowledge. Austin Reddick stash and knowledge. Let's go.
Now, when I say drop some knowledge on Bischoff, I'm not saying dropping some like personal backstage insider knowledge. I have never met the man. But if you want to take anything he says about the pro wrestling business seriously, don't. Eric Bischoff has done fuck all in the pro wrestling business. He was an executive that was there and got to hang on with Hogan and all them. And you can say the NWO. Okay, for a second, it was the hottest thing in pro wrestling. Then he ran it into the ground. Then he ran WCW into the ground. Then he went and ran TNA into the ground. Eric Bischoff is the last person you should be listening to about pro wrestling because he never did anything particularly noteworthy that wasn't hanging out with Hulk Hogan for a while. This is the guy that fired Steve Austin. This is the guy that had Rey Mysterio, and instead of like really making him important, he had him do a lucha match for a while, then pulled the fucking mask off of him. This is one of the worst minds in pro wrestling history, non-Vince Russo division, that you could ever get an opinion on anything from. So if you do see Eric Bischoff chiming in about the business on the internet, either ignore him or feel free to take a shot or two because he does not deserve your respect or attention.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Eric Bischoff, he's not a wrestling guy. He was a guy that was just involved with live events, working somehow through Turner. I don't know how he got, but he kind of just wound up in the position in WCW. He's not a native wrestling guy, right? He's not like Jim Cornette. We've talked our shit on in the past for obvious reasons, but Jim Cornette's been in the business his whole life, right? There's at least that, Bischoff, if I'm not mistaken, he was like an entertainment dude who just ran and then just wound up in wrestling somehow one day.
Yeah, because I mean, he was doing the backstage interviewing and a little bit of commentary for a while, and then they just let him run the company, which TNT picked up pro wrestling because it was hot at the time. They just needed someone kind of to put in charge. As long as the show was drawing some ratings, they don't really care. And he's probably one of the luckiest people in the history of this business for just achieving so much undeserved success and fumbling it so many times. That is the more pertinent stash of knowledge. While we're digging through the stash, though, I do have a quick update. I am through the 2000 Royal Rumble on my attempt to watch all of them in this calendar month. I'm on pace. I'm a third of the way through. That being said, if I don't quite make it through the last 5 or so, I'm not really worried about the super modern ones. They haven't been that great. But I got to say, after watching where I am at now, 97, 98, 99 is just such an excellent run of Rumbles. 92 is my personal favorite of all time. Many consider the greatest of all time. After 92, you get a really weird drop off where the Royal Rumble really doesn't seem important again as a show, let alone the match, until 97. There's a really weird string of years where you keep getting random people that aren't with the company entered in the Royal Rumble that are never going to win it and are not particularly notable. 97, most famously, you get a bunch of random luchas, one of which is Mil Mascaras, so you do get a notable lucha in there. Then you get a bunch of other ones you don't care about. I think it was 96, you get Dory Funk Jr. in there, which I appreciate that. Dory Funk Jr. is not winning the 96 Rumble. I think 95 has Dick Murdoch in there.
Dick Murdoch. Oh, my God.
Eddie Gilbert is in 94, 95. There are just random people popping up that make no sense. And then you get 97, 98, 99. Terry Funk is either in all three or 2 out of the 3. You get Foley showing up. You get Stone Cold showing up. You start getting way more talented guys and more top guys. That mid-90s, while it's nostalgically my favorite era of pro wrestling, watching through those Rumbles is such a fun snapshot of the roster they have. And you go from 92, where there's legitimately quite a few guys that you could see winning that, even though you're expecting Hogan or Flair. But you've got top guys, and then 93 through 96, I think you get Henry Godwin in the Final Four. I think Dick Murdoch is actually in the Final Four in the 95 Rumble. It's such a weird...
Bret Hart wins 2 of them. And that's when he was mid-card guy, right?
Yeah, Bret Hart wins 94, but that's the only one he won.
I thought he won 2. I thought 94 and 95.
No, just one.
Not only does he not win 2, he only wins half because him and Lex Luger tie in 94. 95 and 96 are Shawn. And then 97 is Stone Cold, which Stone Cold cheating, getting thrown out, but the refs are distracted and sliding back in to win it is still one of the coolest Rumble finishes they ever did.
Yeah.
But that's my little trip down memory lane while we're digging around the stash.
I think 97 was my favorite. That was Shawn's, and then 98 was Austin's, right? Austin's first.
No, 97 was the one Austin cheats to win it. Because 97, right. The main event is Shawn and Sid in the Alamo Dome.
That's right. Yeah. Ooh.
And then Shawn loses a smile.
Yeah. And if I remember right, didn't Austin win 98 as well? Or did he win? Because he won 3. No,
he won back to back.
Yeah, he wins 97, 98, and then he wins 2001.
Right. Yep. He's the only one to win 3. I know, because you had Michaels is 1, 2, Lesnar's 1, 2. Hogan's 1, 2.
Triple H is 1, 2.
Triple H is 1, 2.
I think
John Cena's 1, 2.
Cena's 1, 2. Yeah.
Cena's won anyone 1.5 because him and Batista tied. Actually, no, he technically lost that one because he got thrown out. So I think he only won 2008.
I watched too much wrestling. I saw a graphic earlier today that mentioned that, and I thought of you because it said all the multiple winners of Rumbles, and Yeah, there's not nearly as many as I would have thought either. So. Well,
John Cena has won 2.
Okay, I was gonna say I thought he won 2. Yeah.
He won in 2008, and he won in 2013.
Yeah, one of those is the one where he returned.
Yeah, 2008 was the surprise return, which was legitimately one of the better Rumble moments. The like the post 2010-ish ones, I start forgetting because most of those I only ever watched once.
Yeah.
Anything before that, I have seen many times.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, Rumble is still the stuff, still the shit, man. It's still my favorite, one of my favorite things. It's my favorite memories as a kid, right? It's always when everybody else was all big on WrestleMania, I'm like, but Royal Rumble though, Royal Rumble, Oh.
It's such a fun match. Probably one of, if not the greatest gimmick match ever created.
I put it up there, yeah.
Yeah, it is. So here's a little trivia for you guys. Can you name the 3 winners that started at number 1?
Shawn Michaels.
That's the easy one.
That's
Rey
the easiest
Mysterio?
one.
Or was Rey Mysterio 2?
Rey Mysterio.
Is he one of them?
He's number 2.
He's number 2.
It's not Ric Flair because Ric Flair was 3 when he won.
Flair was 3. Is it Benoit?
Benoit's 1, yes. So you're missing one more.
Did you say there's 3 of them?
3 of
There's
them.
3 of them.
Michael's
Sean
Benoit.
Ray
last-
Benoit.
The last one happened in 2021, so that might be why you don't know the last one.
Oh, I do know this because we saw this.
I saw
give
this
you-
too, and I'm still blanking because the last 5 years of WWE has been just.
I'll give you a
wasn't
hint. He's no longer in WWE. And anybody listening can pipe in too if they know who it is.
Was that Edge?
It was Edge, yes.
Oh, yeah.
The
I
only
think it
3
was
men. 3 men. Now there has been a number 1 entrant winner on the women's side. 1. Happened in
Charlotte?
2023. No, happened in 2023.
Was it Rhea?
Rhea, yeah.
So there you go.
So that's my little
The
splotchy stash of knowledge.
they've done the
Stumbled
enter
of
one and
knowledge.
win too many times. It should have happened twice at the most.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
also,
go ahead.
as much as Shawn Michaels doing it in '95 was one of my personal favorite Royal Rumble moments because I was that age to be a Shawn Michaels fan at the time. That was the shortest Rumble they ever did, and he was out there less time than Flair, starting at 3 and winning it in '92.
Right. Which I think is one of the things that the other gimmick that lost its edge luster to me, and I loved it so much, is the same night cash in, right?
Mhm.
First time you see it, amazing. And then they don't do it. And then, they do it with Alexa Bliss. It was amazing. First time for the women. And now you half expect it every time it happens, right? The number 1 cash in is such a rarity to go that long and win. You're right. They only should have done it once. I'm happy they've only done the title for the Rumble. I think they might have done it a second time later on, I think. Or do they do it just in 92?
They did it twice because Triple H won it when he faced Roman at Mania.
Triple H did, yeah. So they did.
And people were pissed. And not in a heat way. They were like, why are you inserting yourself in this?
Right. But they've only done it twice in all its time. So that's good. I don't want to see him continue because I think that's what gives 92 for me a little bit of that speciality to it, right? Because it had meaning before they actually gave it the whole point at the sign meaning, right? So
I kind of wish that the number 1 contendership at Mania for the Rumble was a one-off or a thing they only did a few times for storyline reasons. I think just that concept in general is just done. Now you got the sign points and all that. The Rumble would still be just as exciting, and you would have more opportunities to build stars out of it if it didn't lock them into the Mania main event. Now, if you actually wanted to build stars, you would just start putting newer guys in the Mania main event and using that to elevate people.
Oh,
but they're
sure.
not going to ever do that. So just make it for something else. Because the early few, when you got Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Big John Studd winning, they're kind of fun because you don't really know who's going to win. And Hogan's even in one of those and gets eliminated early on. You don't really get a lot of surprises. You basically know out of a handful of people who's going to win the Rumble. Stop putting the Mania shot in the line. Like, put something different on the line.
And the problem is because the way that they plan the stuff out so far in advance, they know what the Mania event's going to be months in advance, right? They've already got it lined up. So and you have all the programming is directed towards that. The Rumble's almost an afterthought, when you really look at it. And I'm with you. It's like if you're gonna, stop making it for the number one or for especially when you have all the titles for the men on one person, right? Stop making it for a title shot,
Good point.
Yeah, like gimmick it that it's like a $500,000 check to the winner or something. Good old school pro wrestling fighting for money. I'd be down with that.
Yeah.
And actually elevate someone and maybe pay them a bonus because you don't pay most of your roster as well as you probably should.
Or how about this? You do like the old kind of a twist on this is going to be a segue eventually here, but a twist on what TNA did with the Feast or Fired gimmick, right? So Feast or Fired, are you familiar with that at all?
Yeah.
Okay. For those of you who are listening, who are not familiar, Feast or Fired is where they had 4 briefcases up there. And 3 of the briefcases were Money in the Banks. One was for a title shot for the world title. One was for a next division title shot. The other one was for a tag title shot whenever you wanted. If you won it and you won the tag title shot, you're a singles competitor. It has some complexity to it. And then, of course, the 4th case was fired, right? Who was fired, right? Whose contract just ended or is coming up in a week, right? They're going to win the case. How about you do that? Instead of, because you got Money in the Bank. Do what?
I said, hey, Sandman.
Oh, hey, what's up, Sandman? So what if you did something similar to that where it's like, other than the world title, you get your choice of championship shot in the next year, right? Money in the Bank's a shot for the world title. This is a shot for any other title, right? Then the Royal Rumble becomes something else. And then maybe you change the stakes every year. Maybe the next year it's a completely different thing. It's just $500,000 paycheck,
And so maybe to make it even easier, if you win the Rumble, you get one match whenever you want it against whoever you want to wrestle. And maybe when you got someone like a Brock Lesnar or Roman as your world champion, you sit on that for a while and hope one of them loses it so you can wrestle someone else for that title. Or you've got someone that's in a feud with somebody and you got the heel ducking them, refusing to wrestle them. They've got to go fight 29 other guys to get this shot at this guy they want to beat his ass. There's just so much more you could do with it. And every once in a while, someone wins the Rumble and says, I'm going old school. I'm cashing this in for a title match at Mania. Cool. You could do that too. It just gives you more options. Because it's the same shit every year. And I'm going to watch them. It's going to be good, but
I hate to be different, guys. But we've been talking a little bit of something's tradition, right? Hell, even earlier, somebody who's not relevant in the wrestling business fires off a tweet to somebody. I feel like that's tradition nowadays. And then absolutely gets buried, like we just talked about. But I think for the sanctity of the Royal Rumble, the winner should get the main event at WrestleMania. I think that's always a thing. Now, is it always a title shot? Not necessarily. It could be a grudge match. But they get the main event. That's the whole point, the whole premise behind the winner.
I like that.
Main event.
That's a good way to tweak it. Yeah.
Imagine you had KO won the Rumble and was like, I want to wrestle my best friend Sammy in the main event of WrestleMania. Like, that's actually a pretty cool story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and put fans in the stands and get buys. They don't do buys anymore, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? Peacock subscriptions.
Which all you Chief fans better have your Peacock subscription ready.
I know. But no, I think that is a solid thing. The tradition there. But you can't take the Roman Reigns era, the Bloodline era right here, as watering down the Royal Rumble.
because we've had some amazing moments, winners of it.
Yeah.
You know, go on to do amazing things. You know, hell, Seth Rollins when he won it, that was such a huge moment. If everybody remembers that, like, and he went on
To win it all, right?
You know,
Shinsuke didn't.
but that was still a great thing for him. You know, I'm just, you know, there's these things out here, and
Like, it just, you know, you just want it to mean something. It means, typically, it's a changing of the guard at WrestleMania. That's typically what happens. The winner of the Royal Rumble is the changing of the guard, and that's the person. Like, everybody thought last year, Cody Rhodes was going to be the changing of the guard. The bloodline's done now. It's the era of the American Nightmare. And what'd they do? They Vinced it. Yeah, they Vinced it.
but now Vince is in the picture. Hopefully they don't Vince it again. You know,
I
I
think this time a little bit, maybe.
I'm actually on 100% on Austin's side that it is Austin or Rock versus Roman at Elimination Chamber, and then the winner gets Mania.
With
Cody.
Cody Rhodes. Right.
Yeah,
I just want to, that's all I'm getting at. All I want to do is I just want to, you know, the unpredictability of it is what we love so much. Now, that was in a different era, I know, right? You know, especially when you look at the early Rumbles, and then you look at and through the Attitude, I get it, right? But even like you said lately, like when Shinsuke won it, that was, you know, we were hoping, but that was a surprise, right? So I just want to see the unpredictability. They've taken a lot of the factors out of it. They don't have the cameos as much anymore, right? They don't have the gimmicks really coming in. You know, Mankind coming in 3 times in the same Rumble. I mean, for Foley coming in 3 times.
God, I missed that though. That was such a great moment.
That was.
So,
I think I watched that one yesterday.
Yeah,
because he came in first. He came
Cactus
in
Jack.
first as Cactus Jack, then Mankind, and then came as Dude Love last.
Yep.
I still remember
Jack
like it
gets
was
eliminated by
yesterday.
Terry Funk.
Yep, which is perfect. Storytelling, ladies and gentlemen. Storytelling.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Rob mentions it. Yeah, you should go check it out sometime. You can go check it out on YouTube, right here on YouTube, as a matter of fact. You know, but yeah, the Feast or Fire was a great concept. I am hopeful. And for those of you not in the know, this Saturday is the first rebranded TNA pay-per-view. Hard to Kill. They've been revealing their new belts on Twitter this week, which if you guys haven't seen, they're pretty fucking good looking belts, man. They're killing it. Very, very clean. It's not like crazy stupid all over the place. They're very good looking belts.
If a belt could be sexy, it's pretty good looking.
Indeed. So everything but the New Japan World Championship.
The Divas title? What?
I hate that belt. I hate that belt so much. But no, TNA Hard to Kill going on this weekend. Women's Ultimate X, which, yeah, you got Moose versus Alex Shelley for the world title. Jordan Grace going up against Trinity for the women's or the knockouts title. They still call it knockouts, you know, the knockouts title. You've got a 4-way tag match with the debuting Grizzled Young Vets. It just looks stupid sick. You got a 3-way X Division match, which I am dying to see, because you have Chris Sabin versus Kushida versus El Hijo del Vikingo.
Oh, that's gonna be rad.
Oh, that's good. You know
That
me.
sounds
You know me. That
dangerous.
match is gonna be woo. So yeah. No, for those of you who haven't in a while, give TNA a shot. Like I said, they going back to TNA. I'm interested to see how far they lean into the history of TNA. Like I've read that, you know, the coming along with this is the plan to have new set and the whole thing. They have not committed to anything to a 6-sided ring. There are some who believe they should go back to 6-sided ring.
Absolutely
I think they're
not.
far enough past it that you don't need to go back. You can pull it back for a gimmick pay-per-view every once in a while.
Yeah.
Cool. Right? Yeah. You're past
And
it. I don't
your
need a
talent will
6-sided.
be super pissed.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't
No
need a
one wants
6-sided
to bump
ring.
in that.
Yeah. And they did. I get why they did it when they did it, right? You know, trying to be different. I get it, and it was cool and edgy at the time. But oh my god, that thing is like a. Ugh. So, I'm excited to see that. most definitely. So.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll be wrestling here in Wichita Saturday night, but I'll probably catch it on Sunday. I just hope they don't miss the opportunity to catch up new fans a little bit. I know it's a pay-per-view, so like they don't need to hold your hand through everything that's been going on. But I was thinking about this rebrand, it seems like a good jumping back in point for those like myself that have not seen TNA in a very long time.
Right.
I hope they recognize that and just a little bit here and there throughout the pay-per-view, just kind of fill people in a little bit more than they normally would. But yeah, I'm hoping the show's good, and like more good wrestling is never a bad thing.
Yeah, Rob, I do the same thing. It's $12 a year, 99 cents a month for their premium YouTube membership. You get to watch all the Dynamites. No, not Dynamites. They're what is it? I guess they'd be called Impacts now. I don't know. They're weekly shows, right? Because they air on Access TV, I think. But you can also get them on YouTube for $99 a month. And they got their whole back library history. They do special events on there. Everything except for the actual pay-per-views. It's the only thing. Yeah. But yeah, I do the exact same thing, Rob. It's a fantastic deal. All right. How about Dynamite? We had Dynamite tonight.
We did have Dynamite tonight.
Dynamite, baby. Let's go. So I'm going to spin this one a little different, gentlemen. Because I'm going to spin it as the way it was intended for us to receive, and that was as fan service. Because if you try to look at it objectively, you're thinking, well, this was a bit of a dud. At least for me. Just to be honest. But if you're looking in the rose-colored glasses of not Steeler fans, but of somebody who is looking at this as a fan service.
You are cheering with me this weekend, because if we win, you guys are guaranteed a second home game.
Well, yeah, but good luck.
I'm just saying. Oh, with no TJ Watt, no, it's not happening. But
I'll be holding my breath.
All right. So tonight's show was back at Daly's place. The COVID home of AEW. Lots of great memories. They did take us down memory lane quite a few times. I did enjoy that. There were some matches. That's probably the best way I could put it. There was, I think, maybe a good match, in my opinion. Like, I was like, ooh, this is actually really solid. But the thing that saved this show for me, gentlemen, and I want to get your opinion, were the promos.
I agree they were good. I wouldn't necessarily save the show because I didn't feel like it was necessarily in need of saving. Was it their best effort? No. But you got to understand, because he's on Twitter, Tony Khan has his finger on the pulse of the working man. And what's the working man doing this week? First full week back after the holidays? Mailing it in a little bit still, just kind of getting through it. And I thought they did a great job of putting that on my TV. No, that was mostly a little bit of a bit, but it wasn't great. It wasn't the most exciting, but I thought it was still all right weekly TV. There were some high points for sure. The promos were great. More surprise BK, which we'll get to in a bit. I'll run down the show, but there was definitely some high points and some stuff to really look forward to. Outside of that, bit of a mid effort, but the nostalgia was nice. The going back to Daly's place and all that.
I didn't feel like the promos were that outstanding. I thought they were fine. I thought the wrestling was fine. I remember, like, before realizing what it was, I remember seeing like the announcements for the match announcements, and I go, it's like everyone's in a tag match for some reason, and then it's like Brody Lee. Okay, now I get it, right? Okay, I was like, what is all this random conglomerate of men and women in these okay, and it's fine. Here's what I liked. I got a lot of people on my screen I don't get to see on my screen, right? Preston Vance and Anna Jay wrestling on a TV show? When's the last time you saw that? Well, when Brody Lee was alive, right? Wow, that was meant to be hurtful, but it kind of was.
So hold on.
I don't remember the last time Anna Jay was on TV, But did she pull a Sammy Guevara and just come back and was just a good guy now?
Yes.
Was she like a heel before she disappeared?
I think tonight's out of context night. Like, because Preston Vance he's on Rush's team. He's not a face, but he was on the face side, right?
But Rush is also kind of a face because he's so over.
Well,
It's
he's
kinda
so
weird,
over,
like-
but they are definitely not face,
Well, we live in a weird time, gentlemen, where faces are heels and heels are faces. The heels get more pop than the actual face does. Like, the more of an asshole you are, the more we love you. You know, it's true.
Unless you're Eric Bischoff.
Unless you're Eric Bischoff.
Everybody hates him.
But, so, hold on. Heather said something. It's like, on a side note, I'm going to say Anna J downgrade in the boyfriend department. I did not know that she has a new boyfriend.
I think she's talking Preston Vance to Jungle Boy. She's going with Preston Vance first when she first got there.
Yeah.
I was unaware of that.
Yep, she was going out with him, and then they broke up, which has made Dark Order meetings probably a little awkward. Because then she hooked up with, and she's with Jack Perry.
JP.
Nope.
JP.
Just say it with me. JP. Feels good.
Ah, Vance, did you see?
She confirmed it. Confirmed. Heather.
Confirmed.
I just told you. You don't. Why you?
Because
She's a more reliable source.
No. All right, but see, in all seriousness,
The
I have no idea what any of those words mean either, Rob. Okay, sorry. I don't.
The best by far was the Samoa Joe, and I think that's where we start. I think
of
that
the promos, that would be my second favorite. Yes.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved
everything about that whole segment because you had Joe coming out saying that there's a change in the championship protocol, and the fact that he said championship protocol popped me because obviously I'm in the software business and stuff like that. It's like, yes, you're talking my language. Let's go. And he's like, you know what? If your resume stands up, you can come right to me. You don't have to whine, complain, and go on Twitter and send out hoe ass comments. You come right to me.
Hoe ass.
That was great, and Joe in the suit is great.
Oh,
they did the promo with him months ago where he had the scotch and the cigar was in the suit. And then he didn't wear a suit again for like 4 or 5 months for some reason. But Championship Joe, 100% here for it.
The old main event mafia style, right? It's like I dig this, And my God, people have already forgot about MJF. They were saying, thank you, Joe. And I mean, it's like, oh my God, like we are buying this storyline hook, line, sinker, right? We just gobbled it up. It's fantastic. What'd you guys think of the new belt?
I liked everything except for the AEW being in all black because it's kind of hard to see. Like, they should have made the E gold or something like that just to pop it a little bit. But everything else about it was great.
I like how they got the little side plates. Yes, it's the exact same thing that WWE has, but I like that, right?
Yeah. Like, it's a cool touch.
Yeah.
The nameplate's always nice, but I like the little side, like customize it a little bit. Mm-hmm. I always like when they change up strap colors for people and stuff like that too. Like, it's something new and interesting for your product for a title you see every week, depending on the company you're watching. But yeah, MJF is kind of an afterthought. When MJF was the champion, the story was about MJF, and there was plenty of entertaining stuff along the way. So I'm not saying that it was bad. It was just different in that it was still all about MJF. Now it seems like the title itself is more of a focus, and it seems like we're going to get Joe Swerve and Hanger at Revolution more likely than not, and I'm 100% here for that.
Me too. But is it just follow me here? Is this the first time ever that, like, in top promotions that two Samoans are holding the championship belts? Can't think of any other one. I don't think
Probably.
MLW, maybe MLW. No, not New Japan. Even though I wanted Tama Tonga to win, I can't think of anybody else.
Was there any overlap with The Rock and Joe when Rock came back for a little bit and Joe was in TNA?
I'm trying to think. That's where I was going, but
I don't know, but I feel like that would be the only.
because Rock came. When was Rock's title run when he came back against Cena? What was that?
2013, maybe?
13.
No, it might have been like 11. Might have been earlier, or 12. It might have been earlier than that. It's been a while.
Yeah, that's what WrestleMania 29.
Yeah, we're at 40. So, yeah, 11, 12 years, something like that.
Well, Joe's first run as champ in TNA was like in 08, I want to say.
Yep. So that was 2013.
Okay,
So,
13.
TNA champ.
Possible. I want to say it was 2011 is when he was last champ in TNA.
List of current. I don't want current. Historical.
Yeah, I don't know if the overlap's there, but I feel like that would be probably
That'd
the
be
only
closest.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, just
we're going. Yeah, you opened this door, Jamie.
I did. I'm sorry, guys. I went down that rabbit hole.
Let's climb out of the rabbit hole with. Here's something that I thoroughly enjoyed about this. Joe, of course, is Joe. Love Joe. Everybody knows my proclivities. I've always loved Joe, right? You know, I love kind of a follow-up of what we're talking about for the past 2 weeks, too, right? Swerve comes out. Hanger comes out. He's talking to Joe, and the whole time he's staring at Swerve until the very end, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love this. They've telegraphed it. We talked about, like I said, for the past couple of weeks, we made mention about this. But this is their long-running feud. This is their thing, right? They're going to come and go with this back and forth because they've got money to print with it, and I love it. And like these guys have that natural kind of just chemistry together, right? Because they're different enough, but they're similar enough inside the ring to put on bangers that it's fantastic. You could feel the hatred. I could see their hatred.
Let the hate consume you.
Yes. Thank you. Good.
Yeah. But to your point, and also get your point, get your thoughts on this, am I the only one who feels like this is the Adam Hangman that we all have been clamoring for to see after he won his championship? Like the prince that was promised. Like he is what Game of Thrones should have ended on the logical point of the prince that was promised. Is this it? Do we finally have that true 100% raging babyface that's going to fight for all the rights and not the wrong?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you've got Kenny's out with a tummy ache. Diverticulitis, I'm sure, is no laughing matter. It's probably pretty serious, and obviously want Kenny to recover and come back. But he is out for a fairly long period of time. The Bucks have changed their whole gimmick up. Dark Order's kind of disappeared and done their own thing, and they've been changing. You finally isolated Hangman and given him a reason to kind of fire back up a little bit. And yeah, I think especially on a roster where you've got guys like Swerve and Roosh that aren't, and even like the Blackpool Combat Club in a lot of ways, that are kind of heels, but are still super over. People just like them. Having that one true good guy that everyone also likes and is super over is such an awesome contrast to the rest of the roster that you can have great stories and matches with so many people. So hopefully this just Hanger becomes a focal point again, because I think he deserves it.
It's in the right place to do it, right? That old school Austin style, right? He doesn't need anybody else. He needed the Elite. He needed Dark Order before. He doesn't need him now.
Hey, you're about to turn to Magna PA. Yeah, I'm in. So in on that. No, I think
really quick with Hanger though, I think one of the things that's helped too is just the fact that he's a few years older. Not that he was super young when he started, but he does just look more like a grown ass man that's shown up to beat someone's ass now.
He does.
It's the beard. It's the beard, dude.
Beard
too,
and
It's
that-
more.
stash.
I'm again jealous, but he actually could grow the whole damn thing out, like two of the people on this show, which yeah, not bitter.
I think
It's not for
yeah.
everybody.
beard.
But hey, at least we found out officially Joe's first title defense / victim. It's gonna be next week, and it's gonna be none other than the women's champion. Sorry, the FTW champion, Hook.
I was like, he's fighting Tony Storm. That's break the internet. So Tony delivered. He followed through. I'm not gonna lie. I don't mind this.
I don't either, because the pop was great, actually. The
Well,
fans
here's
behind it.
I want your thoughts, Austin, but here's why I don't mind it. Because just to Joe's point, and what we, specifically I, have been clamoring for a while, right? The whole records matter bullshit that they started on this company 5 years ago, right? Records matter. And then they also end up, right? So Joe's like, we're getting back to that. Well, if records matter, he's 28-1. I don't care if you like him or not. He's 28-1. That's hard facts. It's like, you finished the season 11-2 and number 8 in the nation, right? Yeah. You're better than that little school 4 hours west of you. Receipts, I like it for that. He's no chance he's beating him. There's no chance he should beat him. But I think it's good to give him the chance, right? If you really believe this guy has a future, give him that shot. Much like you gave the shot to JBJP. God damn it, I did it. I've done it a few times.
Yes.
Funny thing is, that's not my first time I did it. I lost the bit already, so apparently I'm not committed to the bit. But you gave it to Jack Perry, and you turned him into a pretty solid heel, right? You gave it to others, they've run with it. Ricky Starks, you gave it to him, he's run with it, right? Give it to him, see what he does. I don't mind it. Austin, what are your thoughts on it? On Hook as number one contender?
They did good storytelling and laid out on your TV why this should be happening. The champion, who has some amount of say in who he wants to fight, as we've seen on the show, sometimes there's matches they're forced into, but we've seen like people can just accept challenges, set matches, all that kind of stuff. He said, I want, the guys with the best records. You got to earn something. If a dude who's only lost once walks out, why wouldn't he take his that opportunity? And hey, you got one, I'm going to give you a second one. This match should be no longer than 5 or 6 minutes, and it should be mostly Joe. Give Hook a little bit. But I think Hook getting demolished more or less by Joe is the best character development you could possibly have for him.
Yeah.
Because we've seen Hook beats everybody. He's not charismatic enough for that to be super entertaining like a Goldberg or someone like that. But it was a good way to kind of introduce him and make him seem like a threat for a while. Now tear him down and let's see Hook build his way back up after getting in there with elite competition. Because that's the other thing with Hook too. Like you really haven't seen him beating super notable people. You got Wheeler Yuta in there and he's had a couple mid-card guys, but he should get his ass handed to him by the literal world champion who's also a 20-year vet and a giant angry Samoan. Samoa Joe should also kind of be Hook's kryptonite. He does what Hook does, but better, and he's bigger. So I think it's a fun way to tell a story for a week or so. And also, we're 2 months from Revolution, more or less. 9 or 7 weeks, whatever it is. You've got some time to tell some shorter term stories while you're building those bigger ones.
Yeah.
Completely agree. Well said, sir. All right, so let's actually talk a couple matches, shall we?
Let's do it.
Speaking of Hanger and Claudio was a banger. It's the way you open up a show.
Especially at Daly's Place.
Oh,
Like just opening it up with a fire match at Daly's Place. Like that's classic AEW.
I love this. This is a match that had no reason to be put together except it'd be awesome to see. And there's no backstory. Didn't need it. Who cared? On my screen.
That's the New Japan style.
And it's a good kind of continuation of what you had in the tournament without having a tournament around it. Is
Yes.
it doesn't have to be half the show every week, but 1 or 2 matches, just give us a matchup of these are some of our better guys. They're going to wrestle. And if you win, you're probably heading to better things. Like, because Hanger is coming out, you know, he's getting involved in the world title picture. Like, yeah, you should be able to beat Claudio. As much as I hate Claudio being a gatekeeper, because I'm just personally a huge fan of Claudio, I get it. But beating Claudio means something. It gives him more legitimacy, even though he's a former champ, to then go out there and go after the title. But yeah, it was 2 of your upper level guys with a clean finish in the middle of the ring, and more of that weekly.
Couldn't agree more. I think this match was exactly how you should open up today, because it was a fan service show. There's a lot of obvious wins throughout the whole thing, which is fine. It's fine, because I feel like this match totally cushioned the blow. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm good. Yeah. I enjoyed this match.
It's by far the best. By far best match of the night. There's another one later on that I enjoyed quite a bit too, but Same. you want to talk about the some fan service? Kind of get that out of the way here.
Yeah. So you had Orange Cassidy, Adam Copeland, and Preston Vance with Dustin Rhodes going up against Brian Cage, the Gates of Agony, and Lance Archer. So they were already pimping out Brody Lee's top 2 picks of Vance and Anna Jay, and they're going to be in there tonight. As soon as you heard that, you knew exactly how this was going to go down. You knew exactly how not only is his team going to win, or her team's going to win, but they're going to be the ones who get the win. And both of them, it worked out the exact same way. Fan service. Thank you, Brody Lee. Not diminishing that whatsoever, but it was so telegraphed, it hurt. At least in my opinion.
I didn't think it hurt personally. I enjoyed it. It's one of those things. If you were there live, it'd have been probably awesome. It's a fun thing to see, right? You see a bunch of them. You get to see them all do their moves, right? You got to see a spear from Edge, and you got to see this. And you saw Orange Cassidy trying to do a choke slam the whole time, which was hilarious, especially when he tried to do it on Brian Cage. I love that. But yeah, I think that's more for like the live crowd more than anything. But yeah, it's fan service. Fine. I get that. But you know what? Sometimes you got to breathe, you got to come up for air before you dive really deep. And that's what this was. I think that's what most of the tonight was, honestly, Talk about the women's in a second here, but the men's I thought was probably fine. The only issue I have with the men's is that the camera panned off right at the wrong time, and we didn't see the actual like discus lariat. It wasn't the greatest. It wasn't like Brody's, but we didn't see the tribute discus lariat for the win on TV. That's my only complaint.
Yeah, this was fine. Kind of a randomly thrown together 8-man of good guys and bad guys. Yeah, it was predictable with the fan service. But even if this wasn't at Daly's place and there was no attachment to Brody Lee at all, you would assume Adam Copeland's teams or Adam Copeland Orange Cassidy's team is winning that anyway. Like, there's some layups. At least so like that's the way I look at it. Instead of like, it's just fan service. It was a very predictable match anyway, but at least they put a little fan service into it to give you some kind of feel good moments in your random thrown together 4-on-4 match. Both of them actually, but it is what it is. It was fine.
Yeah, the women's, they tried to tell a little bit more story into it, I feel, AJ Thunder Rosa, which is great to see. Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander versus Ruby Soho. Hey, Ruby. Happy birthday, Ruby. It was Ruby's birthday yesterday. Saraya, Sky Blue, and Julia Hart. So I feel like they tried to tell a little bit more story with that, right? Especially because they scheduled after the match, or they announced after the match on Collision, Julia Hart's defending against Anna Jay. If you're gonna give Anna Jay a push, I know you asked the question, why would Anna Jay be on my TV in a match, right? But if you're gonna give her a push, that's the way you do it, right? You said the TBS title is what? For bringing up all these youngins. That's your developmental title. Cool, right? good. So you kind of
Intercontinental Championship from back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if this really is an Anna Jay push, or if it's just the moment tonight she loses to Julia on Saturday and then just kind of disappears again for a while.
Well, that's probably what will happen, but who knows?
Like, it gives you something to do for your Battle of the Belts, which titles never change hands on anyway. It's really weird to me that Battle of the Belts, it's like when WWF used to do Saturday night's main event, and it was like this extra hour of wrestling that you didn't normally get, and it was a big deal. And now it's like, here's a third hour of Collision, but none of the good stuff you get on Collision.
Right.
Except I feel like a title's going to finally change hands, and Jericho and Sammy are going to win those titles on Saturday.
God, I hope not.
Unfortunately. I hope not as well, but
I can't comment on that. I have signed an NDA. I am not allowed to comment on that match.
Really quick, Big Rob, absolutely, in the chat. They did a promo with Lance Archer and set up Archer and the Righteous against Gates of Agony and Brian Cage for the ROH 6-man titles on Saturday, and that should be a good time.
That's
be
perfect.
Awesome. That's great.
And then also, Heather said Gates of Agony sounds like a banger garage band. It sounds like a Pantera cover band, man. Like, that's like, as soon as I hear it, like, oh, dude, yes, we're going to hear some Pantera. Let's go.
For what it's worth, and again, like I said, they're spinning some stuff here. So they've got the whole Julia Hart angle thing, right? It's funny because Sky Blue, who was wearing her thong outfit with the TV appropriate unders on, apparently she wears the exact same thing when she does indies without the TV appropriate unders. So she's full thong. Why not? I love the little thing they did too. That we're female wrestlers, and they did a whole little bit online. And Sky Blue's lines was, "Of course I'm a female wrestler. You wouldn't recognize me in public because I'm wearing pants." It's like,
I mean,
I like how she ate the L, and then as they were leaving, and they made it very clear in the match to say several times that she is not part of the House of Black. But here's Julia consoling her like a child, right? Holding her head, as she's staring down Anna Jay. They got that. They got the whole Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander, Stokely Hathaway thing, which
that was so great. Her facial expression, finally, like when he popped out, and she just looked over like, great. And it's like, yes. This is the dynamic you need, Stat, in order
you need personality. You're not going to develop it, so here is a man with personality, which we're going to pair with you. Yes.
Yeah, it's like Statlander and Stokely would be money. Like, they need to just go ahead and pull the trigger on that.
Yeah.
Because the build-up, what they've been doing, the Stokely part of it is entertaining because Stokely is just always entertaining.
Yeah.
But it's not really making you feel any kind of way about Chris Statlander. It's not like her contributions to that. Not that she's being asked to even really talk or do anything, but it's all Stokely anyway. So just pull the trigger, have her turn heel and join them so she can start getting some of that entertainment value, because she was holding a lot of this 4-on-4 together tonight. She was doing a lot of the heavy lifting in that match. Not that it was bad or anything like that, but Statlander was working her ass off in there, and she can put her with Stokely, and like I said, that's money.
Which I did. One of my notes from that match was the softest German suplex ever on Saraya. Like how she picked her up just a little extra, and it looked really good, but it was super soft, not anywhere near that neck, man. It's like, dude, she's so good in the ring. When you see that kind of stuff.
My personal favorite part of the match was Julia Hart getting on the wrong side for
wrong side of it. But I was like, oh shit! But they very quickly adjusted. Thankfully,
she adjusted perfectly fine. It was just funny.
It was. I was like, wait a minute, that's the wrong side. What are they? Okay, all right. We forgot where we were.
At least it's one of those things that it doesn't take away from the match or anything. It's a big mass of humanity. You're just grabbing someone to toss them. All right, you kind of got wrong a little bit, but that's fine. I've seen in football. We saw Mark Sanchez run into his own center and fumble. Sometimes you get on the wrong side. It happens, man.
I actually kind of like it when they do like something like that. When they really just kind of go with it. Like they have like people are all over the place, and then they get done and like I didn't know where I was going. Right? Cool. I didn't mind that at all. But like I said, you got some stuff that you're drawing up here. I don't mind that. Even though this was a lot of fan service, like I said, for Anna Jay. Getting a pop is good, right? Is like we hope she gets better in the ring. She's still stupid green, right? Very green. Like, I mean, a lot of them are, right? But I mean, Sky Blue outpaces you by like 2 or 3 years of experience. You're green. But setting that whole thing up with Julia, the Chris Statlander Hathaway, they're doing the whole obvious long thing, but they're doing the whole Ruby Soho breaking from, Saraya because, they're whatever. So they've actually got the different storylines going, and I appreciate them putting a lot of that on my TV in front of me. Again, more people that you don't get to see on TV. So yay.
I could see there's no chance in hell she's winning the TBS title Saturday, but I could see them pivoting to putting Anna Jay with Julia Hart and Sky Blue.
I'd be here for it. I'd like her to actually rejoin the Dark Order.
It's something for her to do. And I think we talked about this months ago about getting more groups of your women together so that when one of them's wrestling, because you're only going to have one match each week, the other one's at least out there. And it doesn't always have to be the Britt Baker, everyone's always cheating and interfering, but like just associations that get more camera time for everybody.
I like that. I like the fact that, because they played so much into the storyline, the commentary did, of Sky Blue's not part of the House of Black. They're acquaintances. They're friends, And it's like, this is, they used to be Anna Jay and Julia Hart. They used to be best friends outside the ring, and they kept kind of harking in on those things. That all ties together into a very good little faction as well. She can do similar thing to her, Mist, right? Or even better, Sky Blue miss her, maybe.
The Blue Mist?
Yeah, and as a way to kind of like keep validating herself to Julia, right? Because she's been poisoned and all this. I don't mind it. I don't mind that thought at all. It puts her somewhere where she's not having to go out there and put on 15, 20-minute matches, which she can't do. So,
yeah. I would settle for Anna Jay just learning to move her arms. Have I told y'all my issue with Anna Jay before? That her arms just hang at her side. I can't unsee it. Yeah, she's not bad. She's got some of the best forearms in the entire women's division. Like she throws those things. It looks great. But when she's like running and moving around, her arms are just always glued to her side, kind of like a penguin.
So
I've never heard that. That's great.
So she runs like a penguin.
Time. You'll notice it next time you watch
absolutely. I'm gonna go back and rewatch that match just for good measure. So she runs like a penguin, and you loathe how Sky Blue just stands around. Okay, so
yeah,
there's a common theme here, I believe.
Right. Sky Blue at least got more entertaining when they at least put her with Julia Hart. So slap some dark eyeliner on Anna Jay, give her a sad entrance theme, and just throw her with the group, and maybe she'll grow. And now Heather knows too.
You just blew Heather's mind. Oh God! All right, let's move on, Jamie. Sorry.
That's so good. All right, so after that, you had the Toni Storm, Mariah May, talking about how she got called out by Deonna Purrazzo, some Italian name, which I thought was hilarious that she threw the I in there. It's like, ooh, that's cringy. Yeah, so she wants to have a conversation with her.
This was the best promo of the night. Sorry.
Yeah, Palazzo. Yeah.
First of all, they asked about the big debut. Who is it that she keeps throwing back to? That God, what was the name that?
Oh, Wendy Richter.
Yeah, she keeps so she pulled that out at like the media scrum, right? Is there anybody you're looking forward to coming into to AEW? And she goes, "There is," and she gets up and starts to cut a promo against Wendy Richter, and all the media laughs. So I love how she's continuing on with that. And did you see how she did that? And Renee almost just totally she almost just broke down laughing in the middle of the interview.
Toni Storm is so genuinely good at comedy.
Yes!
Like she could leave wrestling and then just go get into acting. It's that kind of like timing you don't get that even from people that are funny on TV and funny characters and all that. You don't always get people that are just that good at comedy, and she is perfect at this. And I do think, from what I understand, I think RJ City has a lot of input in some of these as well. So I'll just toss his name out there for some credit. I know he does a lot backstage with these. This was one of Tony Storm's funniest promos. They've all been great, but this one just popped the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Have chocolate.
Tits out. It was line.
Now you've ruined
Watch for the shoe. God, it's my line. You ruined it. Yeah, it's like, oh my God, I died. After she gave her a chocolate because she got kicked in the face. Like, come on.
It's so good. It's so good. Obviously, though, Deonna Purrazzo, they're putting us on a line here. We think Revolution, yeah. Deonna Purrazzo and
yeah, probably.
Tony.
And then Deonna Purrazzo is making. They had a quick little promo with her a little bit later. Her first match against Red Velvet, Collision, and like Red Velvet's like stirring it up, and she's like, "Oh, so that's your hand that you stir with? Good to know." And just walked off like that's some stone cold shit to say, because if you know Deonna Purrazzo, you know that arm's coming off.
Right. I'm gonna swerve a little bit from y'all. I don't think Deonna and Tony happens at Revolution.
I think it's before.
I think it happens before, and we get Tony and Mariah May at Revolution. Because I don't think you can keep Tony and Mariah May going on for 2 more months with Tony just like clearly just blowing her off and all that. You've kind of gone to like clearly established Tony's not really receptive to the other half of this relationship. I think 2 months is the perfect timeline to build to their match. Mariah probably gets involved and costs Deonna the title in that, and then you get Tony and Mariah, and then you could work to Mariah and Deonna from there. Although Hayter could come back and you could pivot everything, but I think for the next like 2 months, I don't think you have to give Deonna Purrazzo the title right away. I think she should get it eventually, but it seems like Mariah is kind of what you're building to.
I like that, and I'll one up you on it. I think that I think you do that, Mariah actually costs Tony the title. And they don't have to have a title match at Revolution, but they can have a match. And if you do have Jamie Hayter coming back, who doesn't want to see Jamie Hayter versus Deonna Purrazzo? Because Lord knows I do.
Yeah, absolutely. If Hayter's back, 100% go that way with it.
Oh yeah, but
she's close
also,
from what I've read. She's close.
You're forgetting about Mercedes Moné, guys.
Oh, that's a good point. Because she's apparently going to be debuting in AEW. Imminently.
I will concern myself with Mercedes Moné when she shows up somewhere.
Thank you.
Okay, when she shows up, and I get to say I told you so, that's your main event Revolution.
I would still rather see Deonna and Jamie Hayter than Mercedes Moné. And I like Mercedes Moné. Like, I don't want to say anything, but like Deonna and Hayter just seems like a more interesting match to me. Doesn't have the star power of it, but of Mercedes Moné being in there. But I think I would rather see that match than Mercedes with either of them.
I honestly think you'll see like Mercedes debuting at Revolution makes more sense to me. I know that everyone, Sean Ross Sapp, everyone says that she's debuting imminently. I don't know. A random Wednesday she shows up somewhere. Now I hate to say it like this. I think there's
still a non-zero chance she shows up in the Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah, I think it could still
get done.
Yeah, I mean, look at CM Punk. I'm not going to rule that out 100% either. But
hey, just like Dumb and Dumber, you're saying there's a chance. All right. So moving quickly, let's talk about one of the non-fan service matches. And let's talk about Ricky Starks versus Sammy Guevara. And what was a lackluster match between 2 guys who should be able to go really well. I was very disappointed. So I'm sorry. I should call that.
I thought the match itself, like the in-ring work of it, was fine. They did some cool stuff. The Rochambeau on the apron was pretty dope.
Yeah.
I'm just not interested in watching Sammy Guevara wrestle, let alone watching Sammy Guevara win, especially against someone like Ricky Starks that should be beating most people.
Same. I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
I
And he
wanna
was the
see Ricky
title
Starks.
picture a few months ago.
I don't care about this whole feud. I'm over Jericho, not the rumor bullshit, you know, but I'm just over. We've mentioned this for a while. I'm over Jericho getting my TV time, right? Sammy Guevara, he usually puts on banger matches, you know, but this was just meh. It kind of the whole thing I'm just done with. I don't care about this story. I really don't care about this story.
It was less story for me, and I had lofty expectations for this match. I was expecting for these two guys to tear the roof off because we've seen both of them do it numerous times. But together, like it was fine. I can't say it was a terrible match. Yeah. I just was left wanting. I wanted to see a 630 onto a table, you know, and then a Rochambeau off the top rope, like an avalanche Rochambeau, something nuts, like just to get me going on this one. And of course, I want Ricky Starks to win because that makes sense because he's Baby Rock. He's your future top star.
Yeah, I think it also just being a single between two guys that are fighting for the tag titles later in the week. Like, you're not really worried. Okay, one of them gets away, and it doesn't really affect the match coming up. So, like, you're already kind of limiting the stakes to it. It's just a match. And that's what it was. It was a match. It was fine. Fairly forgettable, but you could have put worse things on TV, I guess.
Yeah. And then they come out afterwards. You have Big Bill come out. You have Jericho come out. They fight all over the arena, take you to the commercial. Cool. There's a match on Saturday.
Yay.
Yeah. Next.
Exactly.
So Austin, this one probably hurts you a little bit. This next one. And this was the Undisputed Kingdom coming out, and they had Roderick Strong had a match against Brian Keith, and it was a bit of a squash match. It's probably the best way I could be nice about it.
It wasn't a total squash.
It was a bit. He still got some offense in. He's still over with the crowd. And week after week, I just keep getting randomly and pleasantly surprised with Brian Keith matches on AEW programming. Right. You could have him go get squashed by Anna Jay, and I would still be happy for him that he keeps showing up on AEW. I thought there was a good chance because they even talked about it was during the women's 4-on-4 while Statlander was out there. They talked about, I think Shivani talked about announcing that Statlander was signed here in Daly's place and all that. And I thought there was a chance they were going to give Brian Keith his all elite moment, like after he loses to Roddy and all that. We got a promo instead, which is fine, but I think Brian Keith's getting signed sooner rather than later.
I feel like it. They keep, because every time he's on our TV the past couple of weeks, they keep talking about all the work he's doing over there at watch ringofhonorclub.com or whatever the fuck it's called, right? You know, and granted, he's going to be probably doing a lot of Ring of Honor stuff, which is fine. That's all, but it's all the same. It's all tied together, and he keeps getting. I mean, he keeps traveling to all these cities, keeps getting flown out, and getting on TV week after week.
Yeah, it's been like a month straight. And he ends up being on Rampage or Ring of Honor as well as showing up on Dynamite or Collision. Like the brother's making towns for AEW.
Good for Brian Keith. He deserves it.
Absolutely. 100%.
Now the promo afterwards. Stop me if I've said this before.
Okay.
That's what the promo was. It should have been. It was literally the promo from last week again.
100%. Except for maybe he put over War Daddy a little bit better than last time. That's probably about it.
We will win the title.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah, like
it's the exact same thing he did last week.
I think we talked about this last week too. Like the we will win the title. Like Christian and Luchasaurus have done that twice in the last calendar year.
They're currently doing that.
And I feel like, especially with what we just saw with Adam Cole and MJF, like the whole thing Adam Cole set up as a devil and their friendship and all that. What from all of that makes you think Adam Cole would be like fairly openly and obviously shitting on Wardlow a bit instead of just being like, big man here is going right to the top. He's going to be the world champion. And then when he wins it, even though he's probably not going to, then just turning on him and being like, oh, we're taking that shit from you, idiot. We're just using you. Like, that seems more the Adam Cole route. So this seems a little uncharacteristic.
It's blatantly obvious to me that he's going to go up against Joe at some point in time. He's going to fail. They're going to beat him out of the kingdom with the help of a returning Kyle O'Reilly, who's the real fifth man.
Yeah.
I can get behind that.
Because I don't think this Undisputed Era thing's like it doesn't seem like it's gonna get Wardlow over in any capacity. He does seem very much like a placeholder.
He fits the storyline though.
He does, but like it doesn't do anything for him specifically.
No.
At least he doesn't get to talk anymore.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
No more tucking.
All that being said, if they jump him out around the time MJF comes back and MJF and Wardlow have that moment where they just both look at each other and be like, yeah, I guess we both kind of screwed each other over a bit. Do you want to go fight those guys? And they do like the Step Brothers. Are we best friends now? That could be interesting.
That could be funny. I could also see him do a whole like uncomfortable alliance thing. They beat each other up to become friends to fight against the kingdom. I could see them do that, honestly. You know.
Yeah.
Wardlow can be there. He doesn't. I mean, Wardlow needs a mouthpiece as well, which he does with Adam Cole in this setup. But when Wardlow turned on MJF, he was super over with the crowd.
He was one of the most over things in wrestling. Not just in wrestling, he was super over.
He's limited in his wrestling ability, but he can wrestle plenty well enough for how he looks. Like, he wrestles how you would expect someone that looks like Wardlow to wrestle. Not every giant jacked guy is going to be Brian Cage, nor should they be. He's fine enough to have a decent spot on the card and be over and have all right matches with a lot of their talent.
I mean, he does some stuff. I mean, Jamie, he does the Senton Atomico, you know? So he's got some abilities.
Terrible. Yeah. He's athletic as hell.
Yeah. Very true. He's all right. He's War Daddy. That's all that matters. But the trope of the enemy of my enemy is now my friend is also being used. And another storyline, I mean, continued with the Undisputed Kingdom, actually. And that is the potential of the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. What do you guys feel about the Bang Bang Scissor Gang?
I feel like the original ad is just a t-shirt company that just screams that. There's no way they're not making that t-shirt. Even if it's for a single week, right? That they get together. They're making that t-shirt.
I would buy that shirt. I would buy that shirt.
It's so hard.
It gives the Acclaim something to do because they're not defending their titles. So give them something to do, right? And it keeps the Bullet Club front and center, where's Juice? Is Juice no longer with us?
Juice just had back surgery.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I read this like yesterday because I was wondering the same thing. So I had to consult the internet. Like, where's my man Juice Robinson at? Apparently, he just had back surgery, so he's going to be out for some time.
Be out for a few months. Okay.
Yeah, he'll be out for a little while. I would much rather see, and maybe they're still going this direction. It's just a little bit of a in the meantime, kind of like the fake alliance or something. I don't want to see Bullet Club Gold be anything but heels, at least for a long time. Also putting them with the Acclaimed, like, you're just kind of forgetting about all the stuff with the Bullet Club Gold and the Acclaimed that was not pretty hairy there for a while, storyline wise, obviously. I hope they're not going full on that direction. This still ends up being like a 3-team rivalry over the 6-man titles, because that will elevate those titles, and they've been forgotten about for quite some time. Pretty much since the Acclaimed won them after the first day or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ain't wrong.
They tried to do the whole cover it up thing with Bowen saying we don't have to be aligned, we're not friends, we don't have to do all this. We just the enemy of my enemy, like you said, shtick. But yeah.
It's kind of weird to do that though, when one side has the guns and the other side has their dad, and they literally beat the shit out of their dad. Billy Gunn doesn't seem the guy to just shrug that off. But like I said, I hope it's just a little bit of a swerve and we get a fun rivalry for a few weeks, maybe building up to like a 3-way trios match, which could be fun. AEW does those giant man, stunt man things real
Or it could
real
just
well.
be it could be a fill, because before the claim slide in, they said they were going after gold, and they even mentioned going after the trios gold, and here come the trios champions. What's the heel thing to do, Jamie, if you're Bullet Club? You tend to take the alliance and stab them in the back, right, to get the gold.
Of course. But
Boom.
hold on, guys. Let me tell you something.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You have these two guys who hate each other, but they need to fight them. So they come together. We're going to call them the Mega Powers. Bruce Pritchard gave us one thing.
I wish you two had separate audio feeds so I could mute just one of you and keep talking with Austin. So I can mute you both. I can mute myself. See, fine. But now I'm unmuted and you can hear me again, right? But I can't mute just Jamie. I want to mute just Jamie sometimes.
You know, my wife has been trying to figure that out for years as well.
We're okay. All right. Tell Jen we're gonna get together. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna find a way.
Mega Power.
You got him 2 buttons for Christmas, but neither was a mute button.
No, I didn't get him a single mute button.
Hey,
it
you
almost
heard that
picked it
time.
up this time. It almost
did?
got it.
Yeah, like I couldn't understand it, but I heard it. I heard sounds.
Oh, well, that's good. Let's try this one.
Nothing.
No.
Nothing. I got nothing, guys. All right. So, let's see. What do we? Oh, we just have the main event left, guys.
Yeah.
It was the most obvious of obvious main events that there was ever going to be. You had Sting and Darby going against Hobbs and Takeshita, and Hobbs went through a table, and Kanesuke saved Darby's life. I think that's probably the best way to put it. And with that nice grab, but of course, Sting wins because Sting has never lost in AEW, nor will he ever.
Hey, it's
Nor
the Sting
should he.
farewell tour. This is last time Sting's going to have to wrestle in Jacksonville, the birthplace of AEW.
Yes.
Farewell tour. You got to keep it going.
So,
Go ahead.
No, he did
Okay,
not land.
so
he didn't land on the table. His head was straight on that concrete pad.
yeah. So I pose this question to you because obviously the Bucks came out and essentially challenged Sting and Darby because that's what you do. But my thought originally when they were like, "Who are you gonna fight? Who's gonna be your last match?" The first thing that popped in my head was Darby. Him and Darby.
It's always
He's
been
gonna
Darby
pass
for
the
me.
torch to Darby.
100%.
I feel like they just wanted to put the Bucks in something.
You're still
So
Austin's got a point here, but I'm gonna circle back.
go ahead, JJ.
Okay, you had a point earlier that I'm actually gonna double down on here. You're 2 months out. You can still do Sting and Darby. You could do this. You could do this Young Buck thing before, right? You don't need to draw this out that long, right? He doesn't need to announce who his final. They've almost sold out all the tickets, right? You don't need to sell any.
Yeah, there's like 100 left.
Yeah. They sold like 15,000 like that, right? You don't need to sell tickets to this thing. You're going to have buys to this thing, period, right? You don't have to promote the Bucks versus Sting for 2 months. You could just. I don't think you need to, and I think it makes sense for Sting being who he is, where he came from, the whole thing, right? Singles match, pass the torch. Just like Ric Flair the first time he retired.
I got a hard disagree with y'all.
Okay.
I think Sting versus Darby is much better than theory than it is in execution.
Oh, I agree.
I think Sting one-on-one is not very good execution at this age, but
Yeah, Sting should not be in a singles. Also, like, to set up Sting Darby, you either have to have one of them turn on the other, which I don't think would get over, and I don't think anyone would like or understand, or it's got to be like I want to wrestle you on the way out. But one, Sting challenging Darby seems weird. Because like, why would Sting challenge Darby? Why would Sting want to wrestle his friend? Darby challenging Sting seems weird the other way because Darby's a babyface and like, oh, I got to beat the icon. Sting. Like, I understand Sting's undefeated in AEW, but he's a 60-something-year-old man. That doesn't really elevate Darby beating Sting. And also, Sting should absolutely not lose in his last match because even though he's undefeated in AEW, beating a 60-something-year-old shell of Sting isn't really going to elevate anyone that much. This is his farewell tour. People want to see Sting the last few times they get a chance. They want to see Sting win. And we've talked about the kind of the lack of true baby faces. Sting kind of gives you that the good guy won moment that you don't always get as much in AEW or modern pro wrestling in general.
Okay.
I think Sting and Darby versus the Bucks is the most I've been interested in a Bucks or Darby match being announced in quite some time. Their matches are always entertaining. They're just not performers I particularly care for, but I think this makes sense. I think the Bucks can bump really well for Sting. I think they can do all kinds of cool offense with Darby. And it's just, I think just for the wild trivia fact as well, that Sting, after 4 decades, his last match was against the Young Bucks. Like, that's his retirement match. That is hilarious to me. But I think it'll be good. I like it.
Jamie, are you on board with that? Or are you on board with single?
You know, I mean, the singles in theory was like, yeah, it makes sense. If I'm going to go out if I'm going out, I want to go out my terms. I want him to put me in retirement. I want him to beat me, you know, like that type of thing. But if we get the Bucks, that means we get a total spoof on the "I'm sorry, I love you."
You do, especially with Ric Flair being ringside. Yes, you do.
You know you're gonna get it.
Which, can I just take for a second here? Everybody knows I'm a Ric Flair stan, right? One day I keep floating the idea. I don't know if I ever told you this, Austin, but I keep floating the idea about getting like an 80s caricature style Ric Flair, you know, from the Bright Lights Big City promo on my leg. You know, I've almost gotten it 3 times before. I probably one day will get it. So, as the Ric Flair stan on the dais here, I love the Ric Flair spot tonight because he comes in the ring and you're like, God damn it, Rick, what are you doing? And then he's going to chop Hobbs, and Hobbs is sitting there like he would. You're an 80-year-old man chopping me. What the fuck? And then just very suddenly, boop, dirtiest player in the game pulls out the eye poke.
Flair.
And then
I had the same reaction when he got in the ring. I was like, why is Flair in the ring? Like,
but he does that, and nothing, eye poke, and he gets out of the ring. I'm like,
it was a fun little spot.
That's enough. That's just enough. Thank you.
I really enjoyed this entire match. I'm glad it was Falls Count Anywhere. That made it more fun. Was a little concerned for Sting on that finish as well. Did y'all see when Hobbs and Takeshita did the double limb throw on Darby and his head hit the rope?
Flower toss?
Oh, yeah.
He rotated in the air, then bounced off the mat or something. His head hit the bottom rope. Like, I thought Darby died like 4 times in this match, but it was fun. And I think anybody can lose to the Stinger or not lose any steam. Like, I don't like to see Takeshita lose, but it's a Stinger, man. Like, and that's why I don't want that singles match with Darby, because you get the story of it. You're getting a little bit too much of like kind of sad emotion adding Darby into a singles match in that, instead of just let Sting's retirement match just be a fun send off for Sting. Let's just celebrate the Stinger for 15 minutes or so.
I'm with you.
And I think in the week before his final match, gentlemen, I think we should put this out there now so you guys have plenty of time to think about it. Your favorite Sting match ever.
Ooh, that's going to be tough. Yeah, I need time to narrow down.
Like, gives you plenty of time. Rewatch it, you know.
I mean, like, right off the top of my head, I would immediately say the cage match. Why am I blanking on the name of it? The Chamber of Horrors match. The 4-on-4 in the electrified cage with Abdullah the Butcher and Mick Foley and Scott Halsen. They're like in the Steiners. That match is so absolutely ridiculous that it's my go-to favorite Stinger match, but I'm gonna dig a little bit deeper and come up with a better one in a couple.
Because I mean,
weeks.
it's if you on the spot, I'd be hard pressed. They do it all the time on TV too, but I'd be hard pressed not to go 88 Sting Flair, right?
Yeah. Or better yet, gentlemen, better yet. No, we're not gonna do a match. Your favorite Sting moment, which could be a match, could be a moment in a match, could be just something. Like, what's your favorite Sting moment?
Awesome, Joker Sting coming right at it.
Oh, I was gonna go RoboCop.
RoboCop's great. When he put over the Shockmaster.
So I had to go RoboCop now because I had to say that for the joke, but I'll there's better Sting moments out there, but I couldn't not bring up RoboCop.
I legitimately love Joker Sting from TNA, and I know that Jamie does not.
It's so dumb, dude. I thought
he's his favorite. He said it's been his favorite time in wrestling was Joker Sting.
So I feel like even though favorite is very subjective and like whatever your favorite is your favorite, I think we should set down the ground rule that no one can say the time Sting pulled off his mask and it was just Sting underneath. Because that seems like that's too much of a layup as well. We gotta dig deep on.
Yeah, gotta get rid of some of the ubiquitous ones, right?
Yeah, like I have one in the chamber right now. Like I have one in my mind. Like that was a great moment, but is it my favorite though? Like that's the thing.
I did see a fantastic Sting moment. It's not really a Sting moment, but Sting was involved with this. I saw on Twitter a couple days ago. It was the Bill Maher episode from like the early 90s where Sting was on the panel with Roddy Piper, and Roddy Piper literally like shows his ass to prove how real wrestling is in front of him. And Sting's like trying to bring the whole conversation back to like normalcy the whole time, and Roddy's just like, Bert! It's more of a Roddy clip. Yeah, it's Roddy, but Sting was involved with it there.
God, Roddy was great.
All right, well, we'll do that. We got plenty of time. Like I said, we got several weeks here. We got a pay-per-view before Revolution, so another chance for Austin to defend his title before we get to Revolution. The title that will be there shortly.
Yes. Yeah, it will be mailed out. More than likely tomorrow.
It'll be here shortly, but it'll also be here longly. Because I ain't dropping that strap, brother. That doesn't work for me, brother.
Well,
that doesn't work for me. Don't you brother me. No. Yeah. Well, anyway, you're part of the FWO, so it's all good. Still in the house.
He's never agreed to be part of the FWO. Stop trying to make it
sure as shit did. He goes, the heel thing would do to be taking your invitation.
Yeah.
He said if he did the heel thing, hypothetically, he would align with the FWO. But he never actually said he was doing that.
Yeah. Jamie's going to be the rebel to my Britt Baker.
Rebel? How about this? I
can mute you both at once, though. I can mute both of you there. So, I just mute you both right now. And, this is what I do. I do all this work. I make all this stuff. I set up the feeds. I do all this. This is the appreciation I get, chat.
Bro, we're just letting you live. You get to be the podcast version of Ruby Soho.
Exactly. Never gonna get it.
Laugh my ass off when she wins. All right.
Ooh,
anything else?
Old day
anything else you guys want to get to tonight?
Celebrating 1 year with no Stephanie McMahon in WWE. I don't know if that's something like worth anything, but there you go.
I didn't even realize it'd been that long already. Although I haven't watched weekly in some time, but
who knows? Well, we're going to be watching. We're going to be talking, and we're going to be picking on Royal Rumble here in a couple weeks. So keep a hold. Keep. I can't talk. Words are hard. Stay tuned. We'll get to more of that later on here. We do got plenty of time before Revolution. I feel like there's got to be something they're going to have. Not another pay-per-view, right? I don't think they're going to, because Tony Khan says he's not plugging another pay-per-view, but I feel like they're going to plug something big here in the middle, right? I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that means, but it just feels like this is a long time after the pace they've been going after lately, AEW. I feel like there's something else coming. Don't know why. Just a gut feeling.
Maybe like a big special Dynamite or something.
There you go.
Something
Battle
like
of the Belts 26. Yeah, what else?
Plenty of Battle of the Belts. One day a belt will change on there. But we'll be back next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. We're going to talk more Dynamite, see what else is going on in the wrestling world. Again, if you got some time, you got the ability, check out TNA this weekend. I'm going to. I'm excited for it. I know Austin said he's going to try and catch the replay of it after they get back from Denver. If you are in Denver, you can't buy tickets, but hopefully next time they come to town, get online early if you're going to be in Denver.
March 2nd is the next one after this Friday, which is a Saturday, a random Saturday Triple L. And if you are in or around Denver and you want to go to Triple L, get your tickets early because this is like 7 or 8 shows in a row that it has sold out well in advance, which is really what you want in pro wrestling. So
that's the point, right? You want to sell the house.
The most fun you'll have at an indie wrestling show. It's a party, and you'll love it.
He's not lying. It is fantastic. It's a one of a kind experience, Jamie. Too.
It really
it's not
is.
like any other promotion I've ever been to.
No, it was we were blessed to go to one, and we're gonna go again. But yeah, it was absolutely amazing. But if you cannot make it, if you don't already have tickets to go see him in Colorado, you can catch him in Wichita on Saturday. That's right, HCW.
Yes, sir. The Heartland Championship Wrestling here in Wichita Saturday night. So if you're in or around the area, that'll also be another solid night of pro wrestling. We live in the future. You have a phone that you can watch TV on. So if you're one of those people that want to watch the Chiefs or a Dolphins fan, if that's your flavor, you can put that on your phone while you're at the show. So come see some pro wrestling and watch football because I'll be watching the playoffs in the locker room.
I mean, it is. I mean, that game is on an app, exclusively on an app.
Yeah, isn't that on Peacock? So if you're listening to this podcast, you got Peacock anyway.
Still, though, that's dumb. I don't care. I'm like, put it on Peacock. Yeah. Anyway. And you'll get plenty more times to see him in the future. Lots of stuff coming up here. March is going to be a very big month. We're going to talk a lot about stuff going on in March. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We do truly appreciate it. If this is your first time here, hi, welcome. Thanks for making it to the end. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Helps out quite a bit. Find us on Twitter at Total Spotfest. Jamie, take us home.
All right. If you're at Down Total Spotfest, I got 4 words for you. No ho-ass comments.
Sign point. Still gotta get the WrestleMania sign from behind me.
See you guys next week.
Peace.
Later.